Just wanted to post something up really quick. It's not normally something I do, but actually a friend of mine kind of inspired me to do this, and something interesting happened tonight, and I wanted to post about it while it was still fresh in my head. Well, I was at the grocery store tonight, and I was going through the checkout line, and the cashier looks at me, and most of you guys know out there that I'm physically handicapped, and looks at me and asks me how long I've been injured. And I kind of thought about it for a second, and I'm like, oh no, man, this is birth. I actually get mistaken for a wounded vet quite a bit. I don't know if it has something to do with my haircut half the time. It's kind of a funny thing, but I just went to the cashier, and I said, no, man, this is birth. And he kind of chopped back, and he's like, oh, man, that sucks. And I kind of froze for a second, and, normally this is not a subject I really talk about publicly, but nah, man, my thought process is just like, nah, what sucks about it? It is what it is. You just take your victories where you can get them. Just check me out anytime at the airport. Anytime I'm going through an airport line, airport security can't wait to get me through the line. So, it is what it is, but it has its uses. But, it kind of got me to thinking. A lot of times when I think about life direction and my personal journey, I've never really thought of as myself as somebody that's been hindered. Actually, I've enjoyed a relatively cushy life, and I've benefited from strong parenting as well as a great circle of friends, and whenever I need something made up for, I got a good support structure. Yeah, sure. The worst things in life, I was never able to be in high school sports or join the military, but that's really all the real regrets that I have. And anything else I've been able to make up for through strictly my intuition, my cunning, so to speak, depending on what the situation requires. And anytime I do need a little bit of background, I got my awesome cousin, and I got a lot of good friends that come by and bring me soda when I need it. You know who you are. But, it kind of got me to thinking, one thing that I like to illustrate to people in general, and my general life philosophy is, when I think about myself, and I've made good decisions, I made bad decisions, and I can personally say that everything that I've done in life, any setback I've ever had, whether it be financial, career, education, or whatever, has been strictly of my own engineering, and I strongly believe in that. So the basic philosophy I kind of give to myself is, I try to do what's responsible, and I try to avoid what's irresponsible, because I know when I'm engaging in some kind of irresponsible behavior, whether it be, having a few too many one night, or, playing PlayStation for a little too long. But most of all, what I always try to do is I try to make the best of what I got in my possession. And that philosophy I've always tried to instill in others. It's about opportunity and seizing the opportunities that are presented to you. And not all of us start out in an equal playing field. Whether it be the wealth of your family, your physical ability, your physical attributes, or even what kind of country you're born in. And it's up to us as individuals to make the best of the situation that we're given to us. And that's really, in my opinion, how you get ahead. And because it's what you build off of, you make the most of what you got to try in the hopes of gaining something more. Because if you're not doing that, if you're not making the most of what you have, then you're missing out on opportunity. You're risking the loss of what you already have by just not acting. And I feel I've done that a few times in my life. But overall, I have to say that I've lived a very good life. I've had great successes with friendships and in my career. And are things perfect? Of course not, but there's always something to build on. But I just kind of thinking back to that cashier, oh man, that sucks. And no, what sucks about it? Yeah, sure, it makes things a little bit more inconvenient from time to time. But, is that inconvenience worth changing everything, Not to say that my life has been some kind of uphill struggle, but I always tend to think if I hadn't been born with cerebral palsy, it would change everything about my philosophy, my friendship circles, and everything that all my experiences. Is that worth trading? And my gut tells me not really. And again, it's not something that I really want to make a big spectacle of or anything like that. But I just thought it was kind of interesting tonight that I've never come across that from like a early 20 something. I'm more likely to hear that from early preteen or something like that, if anything. And again, just want to toss a positive message out there and kind of give myself a little reminder. So hopefully I get better soon, and you guys have a good night.